Hello, my dear students. Properties of haloalkanes, physical and chemical. Most important property, nucleophilic substitution reaction, NS or SN. In that again there are two types, SN2, SN1 or SN1, SN2. SN1 will go via carbocation route, whereas SN2 will go via transition state. And in the case of SN2, there is a possibility of what? Formation of both inversion of configuration and retention of configuration. But in most of the cases, we have seen that SN2 in SN2 reactions, it is inversion of configuration take place. Whereas in the case of SN1, because of the structure, that is which structure? Structure of carbocation, which is triangular planar. Nucleophile will have liberty to attack either from the front side or from the reverse side. Okay, so therefore, possibility of forming two products in the case of SN1 due to the structure of a carbocation. Okay, so this all we learnt in our previous session. Now in today's session, we extend or we apply the knowledge of SN1 and SN2 to understand what is optical isomerism and what are optical isomers. In the 11th class, we learnt what is meant by isomerism, and in the isomerism, there is a one type, what? Stereoisomerism. Okay, so in the stereoisomerism, there are two types. One is geometrical isomerism and the other one is optical isomerism. Already we learnt what are geometrical isomers, also called as what? Cis and trans isomers. Now today or this year, we are going to understand what is meant by optical isomerism. To understand optical isomerism, so we require the knowledge of what? Nature of light. So with this, I am welcoming you all for today's session to understand what is optical activity, and to understand that, let us start from the introduction part of the 11th class, chapter number 2nd, first part, that is structure of atom. Okay, so in 11th class, we understood that light is an electromagnetic radiation. Light is an electromagnetic wave. It moves, it has a wave character. Earlier we thought light is a particle nature. Now today we have understood light is a wave character. Now recent one, what? Light has dual character, both particle as well as wave. Sometimes it exhibit only particle nature, sometimes wave nature, sometimes both nature. So which nature it is exhibiting, we will come to know only after the impact, after the effect. Okay, so this is a strange property, and that is the beauty of the light radiation. So what we are enjoying today, properties of light in the optics, it is because of what? What all research work has happened on the nature of light. So light is an electromagnetic wave which possesses two fields, one electric field and one magnetic field, which are perpendicular to each other, and these two in turn are perpendicular to the line of propagation of light. So this was we learnt in the electromagnetic nature of light under the heading James Maxwell's theory, 11th class, under the chapter structure of atom. Okay, now why we use this knowledge in understanding the optical activity? Okay, so when the light moves in all planes, in all directions, okay, so when that light is allowed to move in through certain what devices, for example Nicol prism or polarizer or the Polaroid. So we have seen that plane of light is polarized. Here what is meant by polarized? Change. We can say in a normal language, change. For example, let us take the example of what? Election. Okay, or we'll take the example of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda has the ability to polarize the people's mind. So by his speech, effective thoughts, okay, so he can polarize the minds of the people. Earlier their thought was different. Okay, now by listening to the Vivekananda speech, so his thoughts are changed. So that means thoughts are polarized. Even in the case of election campaign, election rally, a particular person will come and give a speech for about 1 hour, effective speech. So because of his speech, So minds of the people are polarized towards one particular party. Earlier they were having in the mind to vote for one particular party, but after the speech of a particular prominent leader of a particular party, so what happens? He has a charisma, he has the ability to change the mindset of the people so that they can vote for his own party. So there are some people in the Indian politics, if you see, their ability to polarize lacks together people towards a particular party. This is called what? Polarization. So votes have polarized. In the same way here, light is polarized. So lights, which is polarized? Light's plane is polarized because light moves in all the planes. X plane, Y plane, Z plane, XY, YZ, ZX. So in all the planes light moves with electromagnetic radiation. But if that light is passed via Nicol prism has the ability, Nicol prism is like a political leader. So it has the ability to polarize the plane. That means after coming out of the Nicol prism, light will move with only one plane. That is called plane polarized light, or in short PPL. See here, it is a light source which moves in all the planes, but when it is moving via Nicol prism, now you see the movement. Here you see the movement, here you see the movement. So here light is moving in all the planes, vibrating in all the planes, but here it is vibrating only in one plane. So this is called light polarized. Plane of light is polarized. So it is called plane polarized light. To understand this one, I am going to show you one more slide where it can be easily understood. Please see this one. Yeah. So here this is what? Normal light, which is vibrating in all the planes. Okay. When it is moving via this Nicol prism or the Polaroid, now you see the movement. See the movement here. Okay. In one plane only. So this is called plane polarized light. This is diagrammatic way of representing. This is one animation. You can see easily how the light is polarized, and we want this light to understand optical astrometrism, because only when we allow the PPL into the samples or the molecules, whether the plane is rotated or disturbed, to see that one we want PPL only, not the ordinary light. So because ordinary light moves in all the angles, in all the planes, we will not understand easily whether the plane is rotated or not, whether light is rotated or not. Only it is PPL when it is passed through the sample, then we can see through polarimeter whether the plane is rotated or not. Okay, right. Now see, this is normal light via polaroid. Now PPL, in the PPL is allowed to move via this sample, you can see through polarimeter. Okay. So if the PPL is rotated, then the sample is optically active. Why we are using the optical word here? Because optics is a branch of physics where it deals with the study of light. So here also molecules are sensitive towards the light. That's why we are using the word optic word. So molecules are sensitive. Molecules are showing some interaction towards the light. That's why we can say they are optically active. So if the PPL is rotated, molecule is optically active. If the PPL is not rotated, how it was in the beginning, even after the sample, same thing is coming out, which is detected through using the polarimeter, then it is optically inactive. Okay, so only through polarimeter in the laboratory we can come to know that whether the molecule is optically active or not. Once again I am repeating, whenever PPL is passed through the sample, if the PPL is rotated to certain angle away from the normal track, normal line, okay, then it is optically active. Otherwise it is optically inactive. Okay, right. Now, to know whether a given molecule is optically active or not, sample is to be taken to the laboratory. There we check it. But every time we can't go to laboratory. So just by seeing the molecule, can we say whether it is optically active or not? Yes, it is. This is the work of what? This is the work of Bell and the Van 't Hoff. In the history, Louis Pasteur, who has done a lot of research work in the field of pasteurization and who has discovered vaccine for rabies, he gave a hint that there are some organic, because he was doing research work in the rabies, where he was studying the properties of the some carbohydrates, some organic molecules. That time he gave a clue hint that in organic chemistry there are some molecules, they can be represented in two different forms, same molecule. Okay, so this hint is taken by Van 't Hoff and the Bell. Now today they have explained nicely what is meant by optical isomerism, optical active molecules, okay, or optical isomers. So by seeing the structure, we will come to know whether a molecule is optically active or not. We will do practical, no doubt, but without doing practical, just by the structure, we will come to know whether a molecule is optically active or not. For this, we have to see the structure part. So in the structure, if carbon atom contains a 4 valency, and if all the 4 valency are different, that means 4 valencies, 4 bonds attached to the carbon, if they are different, it is called asymmetric carbon atom. What is asymmetry? It is the opposite of symmetry. In nature, we have seen many objects which are symmetrical. For example, ball, circle is symmetrical. How to say symmetrical? When you draw a center of a diameter, the diameter, center of a circle, you can see two halves which are identical, which are both are symmetrical. So that means circle is a symmetrical object. Cylinder is a symmetrical object. Our human body is a symmetrical object. Okay. But stone, you see, a random stone, asymmetric in nature. Our both two hands, our body is symmetrical, but you see our hand. So left hand and right hand, they are unsymmetrical. Okay. So there are many examples for symmetrical and unsymmetrical in the nature. Only thing is you have to see. But nature loves symmetry. Most of the examples, most of the objects in nature are symmetrical. Only a few percentage are unsymmetrical or asymmetrical. Okay. But this knowledge will apply to the molecules in organic chemistry. So organic molecules where around the carbon atom, if all the 4 bonds, 4 the attachments, 4 groups, if they are different, it is considered, it is taken as a symmetrical molecule, and that carbon is said to be a symmetric carbon, or using the old Greek literature, it is called as chiral carbon. So chiral carbon is what? Chiral carbon is a compound, a carbon which is having all the 4 groups attached to it are different. If one is same out of the 4, for example, out of the 4, 2 are similar, 2 are different, it is called achiral. Okay, that means it is not a asymmetric carbon atom. So in 3 ways we can explain or we can describe that carbon atom. Okay, so that carbon which is having all the 4 different are called as what? 3 ways, 3 names. One is chiral carbon, or stereocarbon, or asymmetric carbon. All 3 are the same. Okay, right. Now you see, when you pass light to a Nicol prism, okay, it is called PPL, and this PPL into a sample, okay, then it will become what? Optical active or inactive, that is using the polarimeter. But without using also, we can say by locating, by identifying its chiral center, or what asymmetric carbon or chiral carbon. Okay, right. Please see here. See, he has given example of hand. These 2 hands are what? Asymmetric. And he has taken an example also. Carbon, this side H, this side any alkyl, this is acidic, this is amine. All 4 are different. So this carbon is what? This carbon is chiral carbon, stereocarbon, asymmetric carbon. This is an example of what? Amino acid. Because organic compounds which contain both the groups, acidic as well as basic, they are called as amino acid or the amino acids. So this is example for amino acid where all the 4 groups are different. So in this amino acid, this carbon is chiral carbon. When this compound contains chiral carbon, then this will show definitely optical activity. So it is optically active molecule. So by seeing the structure, we can say no need to do any practical, any test or any experiment. With only by structure we will come to know whether it is optically active or not. Okay, when you see this one, this part, this is the mirror image of this. Here R is towards the left, this is towards the right, this is the left. COH you see this side and this is this side. Okay, NH2 this side, this is this side. H left, H right. So this structure is the mirror image of this structure. How this hand is a mirror image of this hand, in the same way the structure is the mirror image of this structure. So both are having chiral carbon, both will show optical activity. Okay, but problem is both will rotate. Which side you will see now next. Right. This is chiral carbon because all the four attachments are different. So chiral carbon is designated, represented using the star mark. So in the carbon molecule, in the organic molecule, there are many carbon atoms. In that carbon atom, in those carbon atoms, which carbon is chiral, that you have to mark using the star marker. So using star will show that this carbon is chiral carbon. Okay, right. This is chiral carbon. Okay. Now see, this is the carbon atom. H one side, OH one side, other side CH2H, other side aldehyde CHO. So this is chiral carbon. And if it is mirror image, if you see, this looks like this. Okay. And if these two are called what? These two are optically active isomers or optical isomers. Now why is taken D here? This is glyceraldehyde. Name is what? Glyceraldehyde. But why it is called D-glyceraldehyde? Why this is called as L-glyceraldehyde? So here D and L stands for, they have taken using the Greek literature. D stands for dextro and L stands for the Leo. What this indicates? Whenever this molecule is kept in a sample chamber, when the PPL is allowed to pass through this sample, this will rotate the PPL towards the right direction. So PPL is rotated towards the right. Whereas if you keep this sample in the sample chamber, so when PPL is go via the sample, you will see through the polarimeter that this sample will rotate the PPL towards the left or anti-clockwise. So whenever a molecule rotates the PPL towards the right side, that sample is called as what? D sample, dextrose sample or a plus sample. And if it is towards the anti-clockwise or towards the left side, that sample is called as Leo sample or a minus sample. So by seeing the direction, we can name it as a D and the L. But in the examination, how to say whether it is D or L? So here we are given liberty. If you take this as L, this becomes D. If you take this as D, this becomes the L. So that means we are given liberty, freedom here. When you do practical, that time if you see towards the right, definitely D. If you see towards the left side, definitely L. But in the examination, in making notes or in the class on the blackboard, so which one is D, which one is L, we don't know. We can't say. So you only decide. If one is taken as a D, other becomes the automatically L. So we have some kind of liberty in the examination. Therefore, assign first one as D, other becomes automatically L. So these two are what? Both are glyceraldehyde, but one is D-glyceraldehyde, other one is L-glyceraldehyde. So in the beginning, I told what? In the case of optical isomerism, isomers will have the same molecular formula, okay, and the same physical properties, same chemical properties. But in the normal isomerism, isomers having the same molecular formula but different structural formula, which possess both what? Physical and the chemical property different. But here it is same molecule, same property. Then where it is different? It is different towards the light. That's all. So this glyceraldehyde is different, showing different property only towards the light. That's why they are optically active or optical isomers. So optical isomers are chemically same, only towards optical activity they are different. Okay, right. This is regarding the optical activity. You can go through, already I explained.